With Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League coming out, and more information regarding the story and key plot points being released on the internet over the past year, a lot of people have had animosity towards this game that has seemingly increased as time has gone on. Some of this hate I can totally understand. I really don't understand why they looked at a story focused game like this and decided this needed a season pass live service system implemented into it, or this game isn't going to have an offline story mode despite the fact that that would take less effort than keeping something always online, or why did they make the character played by Deborah Wilson look like Deborah Wilson, which every game company seems to do with every single fucking game that she's in. Another bit of animosity towards the game, which I think is also well deserved, is the decision to make this game part of the Arkhamverse. Now, continuing the Arkhamverse itself I don't have a problem with, but the amount of changes that they've made to the universe to try and justify things is a bit weird. For a start, they changed Deadshot to be a black guy, despite being white in the previous games and spin-off media. What's worse about this is how they tried to make this make sense by insisting that this is the real Deadshot while the white one was an imposter. An imposter with the same skills, backstory and family members that somehow was so convincing that both Amanda Waller and Batman were fooled into thinking it was the real Floyd Lawton. Another aspect of it is the fact that it literally just resurrected two dead characters to include them in the game. In the movie Batman, Assault on Arkham, which I've made a video on by the way, hint hint, we see that in between Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum, Amanda Waller sent the Suicide Squad into Arkham Asylum on a mission, and by the end of it, the only two members left are Deadshot and Harley Quinn, with everyone else dying, including King Shark and Captain Boomerang. But here they are not only completely fine and dandy, but in King Shark's case he's got a completely different personality to go with it. Now, the main thing that has upset people is the way that it's treated Batman. Now, this is the same Batman that we played as in the previous 4 games, and as such many people are upset about how the story treats him and ruins his tragic send-off to bring him back just to give him a less dignified end. And overall, while I do kind of understand why they would do it, I do think it's a stupid thing to do. On the one hand, they want to be able to bring in familiar faces in order to appeal to fans, and Arkham's Batman is one of the most well-received comic book characters to be brought into the gaming hemisphere, so it doesn't surprise me that they decided to bring him in. We also do have to remember the name of the game, Kill the Justice League. So are we really going to be outraged that the game about killing the Justice League is also going to make us kill Batman? On the other hand, as I previously mentioned, it does take the character who had a fully fledged story and conclusion and drags them back in just to end their story permanently in a much less dignified manner. And with all the other details that they've decided to change, the completely different tone and gameplay of this game, and with the fact that they've introduced some sort of multiversal elements into the game, Rocksteady really could have saved themselves some backlash and just say that this takes place in an alternate universe that draws heavy inspiration from the Arkhamverse. But instead they tried to force this into the connection with the other games, so I completely understand that this game is ruining the world that Arkham Knight left behind. Now, as I've said, the debate and discussion surrounding this game has plenty of contrasting opinions, but I think there's one criticism that people who are against this game keep flinging towards Rocksteady Studios that I feel is extremely manipulative and isn't warranted under any fair review. And the criticism that these people keep levying towards Rocksteady is that this is the final voice performance of Kevin Conroy as Batman, which makes the game's treatment of his character in this game feel more insulting. But in all honesty, I genuinely think it's horrible that people are trying to use that to shame Rocksteady. Kevin Conroy was a beloved individual in the voice acting world, and he holds a spot in a lot of people's hearts for his work with Batman across all the different mediums. But I think it's disgusting that people are trying to use his death to shame and insult Rocksteady Studios. I genuinely cannot believe that I have to say this, but you understand that Rocksteady had no control over Kevin Conroy's health, right? I'm sure if Kevin Conroy knew that he was about to die and this would be his last voiceover performance for Batman, I don't think he would have gone through with it. I don't think he would have wanted this to be the last thing that fans remember him by. And I'm sure that if Rocksteady Studios knew that he was dying, they would have reconsidered some of the stuff that happens to him in the game, or even if he was going to be in the game in the first place. And I struggle to understand how people can use such a tragic, unfortunate event to try and pick apart a game that they don't like. I have no interest in this game, I'm probably not going to play it, and I'm probably going to be able to watch the story and point out all the flaws in it. But what I'm not going to do is blame Rocksteady Studios for an unfortunate event that they had no control over. So what I'm trying to sum up in this video is, critique Rocksteady Studios for their game. So far, the final clip that I have on Batman is that clip. I'm trying to keep this video spoiler free because the game isn't out yet, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And if that is the final appearance of the Arkhamverse Batman, then yeah, criticize them for it. Break down the plot and the story. Show how the gameplay functions and whether it's janky or not. Show people the UI and tell us if it's over-designed. Make videos on the characters and the environment models and if they're going to be iconic or not. But please don't try and take pot shots at this company for a sad event that no one had any control over. People can't tell the future. People don't know what's going to happen. And unfortunately, this is just one of those things.